Hey everybody, welcome to the evening of the May Making Bank for 2022. I am going to share some inside audio about my business. You will get to hear 2 phone calls that I conducted that were successful. I guess it would be, I've recorded a bunch of unsuccessful ones. Maybe that would be just as valuable actually. So maybe I'll think about that. I haven't thought about that. I've been always trying to capture the successful ones to share because they were successful, but maybe that doesn't make sense. Interesting. So I'll share 2 phone calls that I did happen to get recorded. I've had a bunch more successful calls that I haven't recorded, and I've ended up recording mostly unsuccessful calls. So I don't know if it's because I'm recording them or because I'm on speaker and my audio isn't as good so that I can record them. I'm not sure, but anyway, we have two calls. The first call is by a guy who found me on LinkedIn services page, my LinkedIn services page. He emailed me, we set up a call, and this is the call. Let me pull it up and play it.
It was 8.
What's that? Mute. Can I mute everyone? I don't see how to mute everyone. Please mute if you're going to be talking. Here we go. Business mentoring calls. All right. Here we go. Let's see. All right. Here we go. I think the thing that's most helpful in this call is how I continued the conversation. I kept pushing for a booking, even though at least a couple points he was ready to get off the phone and not schedule with me, even though he was positive about working with me. And so pay attention especially to that. But there are other things about my general pitch. Someone this morning was really surprised at how casual I was. Interested in what you notice and what's helpful that could be helpful to the group if you highlight it, about what I did do or didn't do, and what, if anything, I could do better. This was a successful call, so maybe there will be less than an unsuccessful call to critique and tell me what I could do better. Maybe it was a satisfactory call, at least it worked. But anything that I could do better or we could think about including in our calls, be thinking about that. Take notes if you hear something that you want to talk about at the end. This is a 12-minute call. Hey, Earl, it's John with High End Headshots. How are you?
I'm doing well, John. How are you?
I'm doing great. Is now still a good time?
Oh, absolutely. I just want to say I definitely am an admirer of your work, and wanted to see how you were structured and determine if we could work together.
Awesome. I'm an S Corp. I'm just kidding. I know that's not what you meant. This guy is a CEO guy of a smaller tech company. So financial joke.
No. Trust me, I get it. I'm an LLC. So
okay, cool.
I will soon be one. So.
I used to be an LLC. You can be an S Corp too. You just have to keep working. I'm just kidding. Do you know about S Corps?
I do.
Okay,
I do.
Cool. Yeah, I was like, I asked my old financial person, I was like, it seems like it might make sense for me to be an S Corp. And she's like, there's not really any difference. And then I asked someone else and they're like, yeah, you could probably save $30,000 by becoming an S Corp. I was like, right. I think I'm going to work with you from now on. So I'm working with him now. So how I work, let me tell you pricing first.
Okay.
It's $360 on a weekday to book a session, and it's $365 per image, and I help you choose those at the end of the session.
Okay, so 360 for the setting and sitting rather, and then 365 per image.
You got it. It's 360 because I have you covered from every angle, and it's 365 because it's only $1 a day to keep the selfies away.
Okay.
And then that's not the fun part. The fun part is the facial expression coaching that I do. I've heard this basic story 100 times from clients. My past headshots, the photographer was nice. He or she got to know me a bit. He or she talked to me and put me at ease as much as possible. He or she helped me with clothing. He or she understood how I was going to use the images. He or she had a drink for me, which was great. He or she played music, which was nice. And then he or she told me to smile, and I didn't like any of the pictures because I looked fake and all
Oops, hold on.
done. So I try to do all those good things that led up to the bad thing and then do the bad thing differently. So I actually teach people about their face before I take their pictures. And I teach them what their face does authentically when they're on the friendly side of things. And that allows me to coach them as we shoot. So I go over how I'm going to be coaching them and why before we shoot. Then I am able to tell them what to do while we shoot. And I also make them laugh or smile. People find me amusing when I shoot. So I'm getting basically, usually it's coaching, specific coaching, like do this with your mouth, do this with your eyes, for expressions on the smaller side, smaller smiles, more serious, more competent, less bubbly, I'm the life of the party kind of a thing. And then I say things that confuse, amuse, bewilder, that cause bigger reactions, bigger smiles, laughs even. And so that is how I get bigger expressions out of people. It's for 98% of people, you can't tell them to smile big. Even if you're trying to coach them on what to do, it's too much muscle usage to do anything other than an authentic laugh or smile if it's going to look right. So it's a combination of coaching and creating an environment where people have those bigger expressions. That's how I get the variety of expression. I do image reviews throughout, so you can see what we're getting. I can teach you based on analyzing your images, and you can give me feedback. And I especially want any negative feedback about anything that you're having negative thoughts about, because we can either change something, if you're like not liking the way the shirt's fitting, or for women, it's often like the hair should be flipped to the other side or something like that. Or you can tell me like, you got me laughing here, but I don't think that's professional. I want to be more serious. Or, you got me laughing there. I hate my teeth. I never want to see my teeth, so I don't like that. Whatever you say, I don't like looking directly straight into the camera. I like a little bit of an angle, stuff like that. All that changes how I coach you as we go through the session. So the images keep getting better and better. And then at the end, I help you select. We'll have probably 100, 150 images, and I'm there to help you get rid of the ones that aren't winners. I'm there to keep you from deleting without a second thought, the best image or two. Some people will be like, no, I don't like that. And I'll say, are you sure about that? Because I think this might be the best image we got. And they're free to say, yep, don't like it and delete it anyway. I try to keep the tears back when they do that. But sometimes they change their mind and see how I explain what I'm seeing in the image, and they want to keep it at least for another round of deletions. So I'm there to help you both ways. And then whenever you're done deleting, you buy those images, they're retouched and delivered by email in about a week.
Okay, fantastic.
I think so.
And they are headshots.
Yes.
Shoulders up, collarbone up, I guess.
Shoulders up, collarbone up. Yep, that's my go-to. Of course, I can take a step back if you want more body or whatever. I do portraits too. We can do full body stuff. It's pretty flexible, but my bread and butter and what I show is pretty tight headshots.
Okay. I'm definitely interested and would like an opportunity to work with you. I'm just trying to think of when would be a good time.
Yeah, I can help you with that.
I think like date wise, it's just, in the period.
I usually shoot on Tuesdays and Fridays. Would one probably work better for you?
my schedule is pretty flexible, and I have a team that works for me, so I can make either.
That's awesome.
Let me ask you this: your sessions last generally how long?
For a guy, you're someone without hair and makeup, probably an hour. But it's a flexible session, so some of my people are really, really busy people and they want to get in and out quick. I can shoot someone 5 minutes if that's all they have for me, but someone quick might be 15 or 20 minutes. And then some people want to bring change of clothes, get a wider variety of images for a wider variety in the set of images that they purchase. So there's not really a time limit. You can be there for an hour and a half or 2 hours. It's whatever you want, whatever we need to do to get the kinds of images you want.
And then generally, I don't know if you have a baseline on this, but how many photos do you generally see your clients select?
One or more. Usually it's like 6 to 12, but it's up to the client. All the pressure is on me to create images they want. So, some people come in and are surprised that they want 6 or 12. Some people come in knowing they want 6 or 12. Some people are really just don't have the money and they need to stick to like 2 or 3. I'm happy as long as I feel like the client thinks I did an amazing job and they had a tough time getting down to however many they want to buy.
Got it. Okay.
So what about the 22nd?
22nd. 22nd will not work for me.
Okay.
On the 22nd. I'm sure you want to get all your clients in as soon as possible, but I'm thinking more so like around the 27th of May.
Okay, I can do May. I have someone booked out in July, I think, so I'm fine with scheduling in advance.
Where's your location?
It's 10 blocks north of the Capitol at 52 Street Northwest in DC.
Okay.
So the 27th, I have all 5 slots available on that day. Actually, it's 10, 12, 2, 4, or 6.
Let's go with 12.
Okay, sounds good to me. I'll get your information and I'll explain some of my policies. Make sure you know what you're getting yourself into.
Okay.
And you can make sure you have your credit card ready and we can get you signed up.
Fantastic. I look forward to it.
Let me see if your email is on your LinkedIn, because I have the worst time trying to do emails verbally over the phone.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh yeah, this.
Yes.
Okay, let me put that in. So you're paying $360 now for the session to get yourself scheduled. It'll be $365 per image, even if that goes up before your session, which it might. You'll choose at the end of the session. Those images are the ones you'll get, and they will be retouched, delivered by email in about a week. You get a free reschedule more than 24 hours in advance. No reason to even tell me why. You don't need to. Everybody gets one free reschedule more than a day out. Second and subsequent reschedules are $150 each. Personal usage is included. This basically covers everything except if you want to put your headshot on a book and sell the book, or a t-shirt and sell the t-shirt, or your latest album and sell the album, or you pay to have an ad campaign with my headshot as part of it. That's not included, but I would like to buy the first t-shirt with your headshot on it. So just let me know when that comes out.
Absolutely.
And so the commercial usage is not included if you want to sell something, and my headshot would be helping you sell massive quantities of whatever you're selling. The last thing is your session may be documented with videos and photos for my marketing. I'd love to be able to post, make a post with one of your headshots, if that's okay with you. Awesome. Appreciate that. So now I'm ready for your credit card information.
It's Amex,
Yes?
that number is
Okay. Awesome. You'll get
I'm taking notes.
information now. It will have preparation guidelines as a link in the text of the email. It's highandheadshots.com/prepare. And then it will also have a calendar invitation in it. You can add that to your calendar. It has the address. You'll get a reminder email the day before, and I will text you on the day about parking with a picture of the building, how to get into the building, where I am in the building, and I'll see you there.
fantastic, John. Look forward to it.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Talk to you
Bye.
soon. Bye.
All right, that's the call.
So there are a couple things I really liked about it. Number one is that when you were talking about them, you didn't say there was a minimum amount of images. I mean, you said one, but when you said, yeah, but some people, they may not have a lot, so they only buy 2 to 3. So I really like that because that sets up an expectation. So I thought that was really good. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, when you said, even if the price goes up, you're still gonna pay this, even though I think it is going to go up. So it gets them ready to, maybe I better buy now before it gets more than, before it gets more. So to me, towards the end, those were 2 really good things that you said.
Cool.
I
Yeah,
noticed
that
that.
was a throwaway. I don't say that often. That's not a go-to for me, but maybe I
I was
should.
wondering if that was a go-to or.
If it's more in advance, maybe I should say that. If it's next week, I won't say that. But
Right.
we had talked about it being a little further out. So yeah, I thought that was good. I would point out, so he was initially very interested. So that's helpful to have a successful call. If they're really like, I really like your work. I want to learn how to work with you. And then he said when I was trying to book him, he said something like, well, I have to look at my calendar. I don't know when we'd be able to do it, if it's in the near future. He said something about working within a period of time or something. And I said, well, I do Tuesday, Fridays. Does one work better for you? And then he said he was very flexible. He could do any time. And then I think next what he said was he interrupted the process of booking him to ask where I was at some point in there. Maybe it was at this point. Answered that, and then I came back and said, what about the 27th? And then I gave him the times and he picked the time. And then when I went to book him, I think he asked another question, which was like, I said, I'm going to get your information and I'll get your schedule. And he said, looking forward to it. Like he was going to leave.
He was ready to go.
Yeah. And I said, hold on, let me find your email and this will only take a minute. And I just continued. And that's how I booked him. I feel like there were multiple spots where other photographers might have said, okay, I'll follow up later and like try to figure out a time. I feel like it was helpful to only shoot Tuesdays and Fridays in general for individual sessions, because then it sets up this day or that day. And so that was, I think, a good example of how to not to overcome an objection. It wasn't really an objection. It just was, he did not intend to schedule a session right then. He was going to think about it, come back to it later. And I think he would have come back to it later. I don't think I saved the sale by getting him to book now, but he's booked and I don't have to worry about him. And it's done. So that's the way I like to operate, like get them booked as soon as possible. Anyone notice anything else?
I like the Tuesday and Friday thing too, like you were mentioning, because I've never thought of that, but it's instead of like me just saying, so, what day is best for you? They have a whole wide range of, God, let me think. As opposed to if you kind of rein it in like that.
Yep.
You're driving and
It
they
feels
say
like
Wednesdays, you can say, okay, I'll shoot Wednesday.
it
but make
feels
them
like
do it.
I'm available all the time. I have nothing going on. Like I
Well,
will
that's-
just do
yeah.
whatever you want, whenever you want. I got nothing scheduled. I don't have any money coming in.
Not busy.
Um, yeah,
okay.
and it's just over like, I don't know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Like if it's Tuesday or Friday, they're like, well, what about next Tuesday? What about next Friday? Okay.
Yeah, A or
is it
B
for?
choices are a lot easier to react to than anything more broad.
What about the next Tuesday? No, that doesn't work. What about the next Friday? Oh, the next Friday works. Okay. Rather than, you're not just gonna go through all your days, like Monday, nope, Tuesday, no, Wednesday, no. Thursday. Yeah, it's too much. So I do like that about, I like my schedule where I pack people in on Tuesdays and Fridays often. And it allows me to get office work done, and it leads into a booking more easily. Anything else, good or bad?
I got a thing. What I found interesting is when he asked you, like, what do people normally buy? And you said 1 to however many, I tend to feel that that's an opportunity to try to ask them how their image is going to live. And because you kind of touch on it though, in your agreement with, like, you spent quite a bit of time saying, look, if you're going to use this image for monetary purposes, like, you're going to pay a license, you're going to need to license it from me, right? So I mean, like, I think maybe extracting some of that information up front, because you weren't hiding it on the back end. You know what I mean? So I mean, like, if he was like, well, it'll be in publications, or it could be in out of home or whatever. I mean, like, I feel like that's where you could talk a little marketing with this individual, and even plant more seeds around, like, to kind of what Charlie was saying, like, they're going to come in knowing, like, hey, I'm probably going to buy 12 from this guy because I got a lot of needs to fill.
Yeah, I think I think, was it, who was somebody, I thought it was you, John, maybe not, someone on the group today. No, it was Matt, I think, was asking, what do you say when someone's at 5 or 6?
Use case.
And then they say, hey, I got to call somebody, and they're going to cut down to 1 or 2. How do you convince them that that's a bad idea, that they need the images to use on different sites and different purposes? And someone in the group, said their opinion that you can do that. And I said, well, I wouldn't be able to do that, because I don't think that most people need more than one. Like, I think it's kind of it's salesy to try to convince them that they can't use the same one on Instagram that they use on Facebook, and they need a different one for LinkedIn, and they need a different one for their email signature.
Yeah, but if you ask them how the image is going to live, they are sharing with you their vision and aspirations for it. 99% of the time people say LinkedIn, and to your point, you could say, okay, and move on from it.
Where I was going was, I like what you're saying, and it's different than trying to explain to a client in the session that they need to have more than one for different purposes. What I usually do say there, I don't think I said it this time, but I talk a little bit more about personal usage, which is, I say it can be used on LinkedIn, other social media web sites, your website, your company's website, your email signature, business cards. If you write an article somewhere, you can put one there. If you if you're speaking somewhere and they want to use it in the announcement about your speech, then that's all fine. So I think that is more what you're talking about. And I think that your point about maybe talking about that earlier, somehow incorporating that earlier, could be a good idea. Much better to me than trying to do that. And I mean, I would say it's like manipulating them a little bit, but I understand that some people would be coming at it and not manipulating them. They really believe that. I just don't believe most people need more than one. So I'm not.
Yeah,
sure
when you,
that, but
John, when you mentioned or responded to that, you said, I only want to give them what they want, what they need, right? Not necessarily what, like you mentioned.
I give them, I sell people what they want. And some
Right.
people only want what they need.
That's it, exactly. And that's how I took that. And I like what you said in the call too. You said all the pressure's on me to create images that you want.
Yeah.
You may not need 16, but you might want 16, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I've told someone when they have like 10, he's like, how many should I get? She said, how many do I need? I said, you only need one. You can use one everywhere, but I sell you what you want. And as I
Yeah.
recall, that guy bought 6. I told him,
Yeah,
you only need one.
Right.
But I think, for me, being honest like that, like I joked about 1+, but I actually have told clients like, you only need one, but
Yeah.
tell you what you want. And I say things like, most people have never seen themselves like this. Most people love the images because it looks like them. It's well lit. It's coached. They look like themselves. They see different sides of themselves like they've never seen before. They just want to have them, whether they use them anywhere or not. So it's up to you to decide whether you want only what you need or you want what you want.
Yep.
So yeah.
Hey, John, was this unusual it seemed like you spoke a lot more than the client. And, a lot of times we hear, let the client talk, ask them the question. But you filled in a lot more than I would have expected. Is that just kind of something you feel out with each person you have on the phone, or is this an intentional thing with the way you present your information?
It's not intentional, like I'm trying to talk the whole time for that reason, but I don't know, I feel like I could probably be better to ask some questions in addition to what I say, but to me, my process is different than all the other photographers they're talking to, and that is the most important thing. And I talk about them giving me feedback and me adjusting to them. So it's not just like, here's what I'm going to do. And it's the same for everyone. And, so I think the process is so important to me. So I do end up talking a lot.
Yeah, I end up actually doing the same thing. I mean, it just kind of happens. And at the end of a call, even if I book them, I'm thinking, maybe I should have let them speak a little bit more. But I was just curious if that was the way you usually did it, or if this was a one-off.
A lot of my clients are women, more than half are women, and they have hair and makeup, almost all of them. So I often get a chance to talk to them for, half an hour, depending on what else I'm doing in the studio. And I look at their LinkedIn's and we talk about it a bit during the session, but to me, I haven't realized that it's very important that I ask them more questions. I think on the phone, you're much more likely to get objections, questions about, well, I just cut my hair, or I'm going to dye my hair in 2 weeks. What should I do it before or after? People ask me those questions and I spend as much time as I need to on those. But in terms of professionals needing headshots for LinkedIn, which is most of what I do, or for a website, I don't really need to know who they are much, or what. They don't know what they want. They like my work. They're coming to me, and I'm going to learn enough about them and, make them look like they know what they're doing and that they'd be good to work with and look authentic. And that's what everyone wants. So I haven't found it necessary, I'm not downplaying the importance of it. Maybe it's a good idea, but if they know what kind of a session I run, I think that's pretty convincing, and then they can feel free to ask questions.
Great, thank you.
John, I like how there's an underlying tone in your voice, and it's one of confidence, and it comes through as you're describing the process to your potential client. And it's something that maybe doesn't always come out with people talking to their clients, but it's very, you opened up with humor, which is always the best way to set a tone, to interact. And the confidence level was there in the tonality of your voice. And that's what I really got out of that.
I think if you're going to be telling people to remove the stick, then you have to be funny on the phone so they know that you're going to be funny during the session. But thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of practice. I feel like I didn't really struggle with being on the phone and talking to new people, but I feel like I've definitely gotten better over, I've said a lot of those things that I said on this call many times now, and it's gotten better. And I've done it enough where I have various lines. It's kind of like pick your own your own story, kind of. It's not the same every time, but it's a lot of the same parts. And I sometimes include things because of the conversation, or it just flows better that way. I don't want to follow a script. I don't want to say the same words to everyone, but I want to use my language, my messaging, and what I've liked that I say I want to pick the right parts of that for every person. And one thing that changes a lot of how the conversation goes is how they respond to the pricing discussion. I don't know if you noticed, but there was a pause. I said it's 360, 365 per image. I hope you choose those at the end.
Yeah, I noticed that, John.
And then
I
he
noticed
said,
you led with that.
he said, okay. The fun part of what I do is facial expression coach. I'm waiting to find out where they say, dang, that's a lot of money. Or I was planning to spend 100, or, okay, that seems like a lot, or that's not bad, or, oh, that's less than I would have thought, or whatever. And then if they say something like, this was actually, I've spent longer than I normally would for someone who said they loved my work and said okay to the price. But normally when they react positively, or they don't say they're scared off at all or concerned about the price, usually the rest of the call is shorter. I do facial expression coaching. I teach you stuff about your face before we shoot. I coach you while we shoot. We analyze images. I get your feedback, and I help you choose at the end. I usually shoot Tuesdays and Fridays. If that's usually what I do when there's a positive reaction to the pricing. There's a negative reaction to the pricing, oh, wow, that's a lot. I can't, people pay that? Yeah, I know it's expensive. Do you want to know why it's expensive? And, unless they hang up, which is very rare, people are going to say, yeah, I want to know why it's expensive. And then it's a chance. Yes, I lead with the price because a few different reasons. I think most people care about price, and that's what they're thinking about. If I go into the process, they're building their own price, what they think it is. The better I do of presenting it, the higher that person will think that it's going to be. But it's usually higher than what they think, I think. So instead of having them feel like, oh, I bet this is going to be like 500 for a session and 5 images, and then be surprised that it's as expensive as it is, I tell them the price up front. I get a gauge of generally whether they think that's a lot for headshots or not a lot for headshots. And then I'm able to build value either way more quickly if they're cool with it, about building to that price rather than building to whatever they come up with and then maybe surprising them with a higher price. It's also easier to lead from all the good stuff about the session into how does that sound? What day works best for you, rather than leading with the cost, from the cost into the booking. Like if I say it's 360 for a session or 760 and 365 per image, how does that sound? Doesn't sound exciting. Like no one's going to be like, oh, wow, that's amazing. It's still money. That's the bad part of working with me, is that you have to give me money to do what I'm going to do. It's much better to end with, I coach you, we select together, you give me feedback, they're retouched, they're delivered by email. Sometimes I say they're in 3 crops to make it easy to use. How does that sound? That sounds amazing. Okay, awesome. Let's do it. No one's been like, oh man, I can't wait to give you the money. This is going to be the best part of the whole thing. So those are the reasons.
It's interesting. Last week, I had somebody that looked at my stuff on my website and called me up, and they just wanted to say, they wanted to find out what time they could come in and but they had never gotten any pricing. So I said, well, I think you need to know, I forget exactly what I said, but basically said, so this is the pricing. And they said, oh, going to have to reevaluate. I didn't have a great answer for it, but now that it's happened to me once, I can think more about it.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you brought up pricing pretty quickly, yes?
I didn't actually, because the guy was all about, when can I get in?
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's good that you covered pricing. I guess you had
Yeah.
to because you need to take the session fee, but I would cover that quickly. When people call me and when I need it tomorrow, can we do that? I'm like, before I figure out whether I can get you in on short notice, let me cover pricing.
yeah, I should have done that.
Because people just think they know how much it is. Like, I don't know if I've ever had someone who was just like, I want to do it, before knowing pricing, who thought it was about as much as it was.
Yeah.
So you got to the point. I mean, I would just probably do it sooner. If someone's going to hang up on me after I go over price, I would rather them hang up before I spend 10 minutes with them.
Yep.
Some people have told me, I was like, it's this, oh man, my budget is 200. I can't go above that. Okay. Do you want to know more about the session? No, it's 200. So thanks. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to inconvenience you. Usually they're apologetic, and then that's it. So I save myself time. All right. Anybody else? Anything bad? Like I've thought that the S Corp joke was so funny, but this guy's the CEO of a small tech company, and I forgot that for a moment. I felt like I was talking to another small business owner who might not know what an S Corp is, so I asked him about that. I wish I hadn't done that. Obviously, it wasn't the worst thing in the world, but I kind of lost sight of who I was talking to for a second there. Anything I should have done, shouldn't have done that I did do?
I felt like it was a lot of information.
Yeah. Too much?
Yeah. I at one point I felt like you were fire hosing him a little bit.
Okay. Probably for this
I-
client, that's more likely than for a typical client, because he was pretty committed. Like I said, I probably should have shortened that and just gotten him to book.
Well, he right off the bat was like, I think he said something like, I'd love to have the honor to work with you or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I never got the impression he wasn't in.
Yeah, true. I think that's probably a good critique that I hadn't thought of, except that I kind of referenced it before. But yeah, he was pretty committed, and it was probably going to happen regardless of how great my explanation was. And a shorter one would give him less time to change his mind, I guess. So probably true on that one.
My only other question is, do you have a defense for when someone maybe challenges or asks when you went over the licensing part, like how do you monitor it? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
People
because
don't
I'm sure
ask
it's
me.
happened to all of us.
Yeah, people don't ask me that.
Okay.
And I'm not going to make a stink about it unless I find out that they used it on a book with, 100,000 copies or, something.
Right.
So I've just started really going over that with everyone I book, maybe 4 months ago or something. And no one said, oh, I need it for a book. My people aren't writing books, I guess. I don't police it. If I happen to see, hey, I got a new book, I published a new book and it's out and it has my headshot in it, then I'll deal with it then, and I'll send them a note and say, this is commercial usage, and if it's not self-published or whatever. But I haven't created a problem with a client because of it. I got paid. I think I should be paid for commercial usage, but if it comes down to not a huge book deal or something, I probably would rather let it go and just whatever. But I do want the policy to be that they have to ask, and we'll come to agreements if they want to operate in good faith. So not a big deal to me, but it's something that I include. Anything else before we go on to the second call? The second call is like 8 minutes. I think. Okay. Pull this up.
Hi Casey, it's John with Hind Headshots.
Hey, John, how's it going?
It's going busy. How
Hold on, let me give you context for this. This was a LinkedIn. She reached out to me. She saw, what did she see? Hold on one sec. She said she titled it Pro Pick, and she said, I'm interested in getting a professional pic taken. Can you give me some details? I said I could. I said, can you call me on the phone? She said tomorrow, and I said 9 or 3, and she said 9. She gave me her phone number and email. So that's the context. I think she saw, let me see if I can see if we have a mutual connection. I think it was just that someone she knows liked a picture of mine. And so that's why she was reaching out.
are you?
I'm okay. I saw on LinkedIn and everybody's beautiful. So guess what? I want to be beautiful too.
I can do that. That's great. Who did you see?
So it was someone in my group, like, her name was.
Alexa, probably.
I'll look and see.
It's not a big deal. It's not someone you know. It's just someone you saw on LinkedIn.
Someone I know, like her picture she had posted. It was a black woman with glasses.
Okay, cool.
And someone I know liked her pictures or whatever. And I was like, whoa.
Okay, that's good. I like that reaction. I've been scrambling. What do you do? Like, who are you?
Okay, so
Oh, yeah.
So
I remember.
I'm Casey Douglas, right? So
Yes.
I work as contractor for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services.
Okay.
So, under HHS. So I'm an information systems security officer. And then the reason why I really want a good headshot is because I'm accepting the federal job.
Mhm.
So I'm going to need one with like a flag in the background. I don't want CMS to take it because they're awful.
Okay.
And then I also want like a regular one with like the dark background,
Yeah.
So
So that's fine. We can do that. What I will do is we'll shoot it all without a flag, and then I'll put a flag picture in the background. So you'll be lit beautifully, and you'll have the facial expression coaching, but we won't see the flag during the shoot.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. I'm not even use it for when I started the federal job or whatever, because that's what they want. But yeah, like on my LinkedIn, I want my, the ones with the darker, I like the darker background.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds great. Let me go over pricing if that's okay.
Okay.
It's $360 to book a headshot session during the week without a hair and makeup artist, or it's $760 to book a session during the week with a hair and makeup artist. And then each image you choose at the end of the session with me, I help you narrow down to the best of the best. And whenever you're done deleting the ones that we're deleting, you tell me, and then you buy the rest of the images at $365 a piece.
Okay. So, all right, let's get started. So, there's without hair and makeup. What is it now?
$360.
$360. Okay. And then that's for the shoot. And then when I order the picture or the images, it's $365 a piece, right?
That's right. It's because I have you covered from every angle, so it's $360, and it's $365 because it's only $1 a day to keep the selfies away.
Right. Okay. So
if I didn't have that little joke, it would be $390 for the session and $395 per image. But I do have that joke, so it's worth it.
Yeah. So what do you got open? I can't do next week. So
okay.
Or what?
I usually shoot on Tuesdays and Fridays for individual sessions like this. So let me take a look at the 22nd. I feel like I have something still available.
Don't do the 22nd because I'm busy that week.
Oh, right. Next week. Yep. Hold on. So without hair and makeup.
Well, because I'm really particular about my makeup.
Okay. If you know
my hair is just straight anyway, so it's not like it's.
Okay. If you know what you're doing, that's fine. The
I
29th.
probably don't, but I'm just used to it, you know what I mean?
Okay, it's whatever you want. Okay, so I do have on the 29th, what kind of time are you looking at? I have a 6 o'clock session, which is people who are super duper busy love the 6 o'clock session.
In the morning?
No.
I was gonna say, whoa.
6
At
p.m.
nighttime?
6
And
p.m.
where you at? I just left in DC at nighttime.
It's up to you. I'm 10 blocks north of the Capitol, in DC.
Where you at?
10 blocks north of the Capitol in DC.
Where's the parking?
Parking, there's parking on the street.
Okay, I'm a county girl, okay?
I can valet park your car if you want.
This is funny. Okay, you have to, yeah, all right. Yeah, I got 6 o'clock, okay.
Okay. I'll book you now. You can get your credit card.
Sure. You get it out.
Let
Okay,
me
I got it.
put in the information I have, 443-804-091. What's the best email for you?
That's what I gave you. You want me to give you it again?
Let's see. Oh yeah, hold on. I'll go to the messages. I have the hardest time getting emails when they're spoken over the phone anyway, so I've got that. I'm going to go over the policy quickly, so we just know we're on the same page. You're paying $360 to book the session now. It's $365 per image at the end of the session. The images you purchase are the ones you'll get, and they are retouched. You have a free reschedule anytime, any reason more than a day in advance. You don't even need to tell me why. We reschedule within 30 days at no charge the first time, and subsequent reschedules are $150 a piece.
Got it.
Personal usage is included with the cost of each portrait or headshot, and that covers a wide variety of things. What it doesn't cover is if you want to put it on a book and sell the book, if you want to do an ad campaign with my headshot in it, billboards, TV, or whatever, or if you want to put it on a t-shirt and sell the t-shirt, for example, that's commercial usage. But do let me know and I'll buy the first shirt.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. That hasn't happened yet. No headshot t-shirts yet. And then
I'm not that popular.
I'd love the ability to make a post on LinkedIn with your headshot maybe, or maybe put on my website if it's super, super amazing. Is that okay?
As long as I look good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to, it's going to look good.
Okay, well, I look good.
Okay. And then I'm ready for your credit card number.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
It's 365 today, right?
Excuse me?
It's 365 today, right?
360 today, yes.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Okay.
You're all set. You'll get an email. It has the calendar invitation and it has the address and the calendar invitation. It has in the text of the email, it has the preparation guidelines. It's highendheadshots.com/prepare. And that'll cover everything, including a little advice on hair and makeup. You'll get a reminder email and I'll text you on the day about parking with a picture of the building, information about how to get into the building and where I am in the building. Bring a variety of clothes and we'll do that.
Is there any colors I should think about?
I like, black, white, and then people have been bringing jewel tones more and more lately, it seems like, and those can be awesome for a pop of color. I would avoid distracting patterns unless there's something you really love that has a crazy pattern on it. I've been wrong before.
Okay, sounds great.
And we'll do the facial expression coaching, and part of that is image review. And so it's very easy for you to change clothes, step in front of the camera, I take a picture, we look at it on the laptop, and you say whether you want to keep shooting it or you don't like it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm really hard to photograph though, I'm letting you know. I'm really terrible.
That's what everyone says. That's why they come to me.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Awesome. I
Okay.
will see you on the 29th.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, take care.
Thanks,
Bye.
bye-bye.
Man, I love people that say they're hard to photograph.
When someone tells you who they are, listen to them. She's not a hair and makeup girl. Like she said, She was very difficult to photograph, and she definitely should have gotten hair and makeup. And she was, she was telling me like, I look awful, like my hair is terrible. I'm like, well, you know,
Makeup.
we can shoot.
How many images
more.
does she end up buying?
She ended up buying 2.
2.
Yeah, and yeah, she was happy.
You know, Peter has talked about situations like that he's run into. And he usually says, look, we'll do some stuff now, but I'll give you another half session later when you get all the stuff taken care of and come back.
Yeah, that might have been a good idea. But she was one who didn't want to pay for hair and makeup. So I don't know. She was happy. She left happy. We got images for her, you know. The makeup above the eye was like that much. And her hair was a wreck. Like, I don't understand. But anyway, that was a call.
So can I comment?
Yeah, yeah.
The thing that I like about both calls is your, Michael had kind of brought it up earlier. He called it confidence. I hear it sort of as this nonchalant vibe where you're not coming across as really eager. You feel like you've done this before, which you have. And I thought it was really interesting when you were honest, I'm assuming when you said, geez, I've been scrambling. So wait, what do you do and who are you again? And it kind of sort of put her on the, not the defensive in a bad way, but I sort of got the sense that she was like, oh, this guy's busy and I've got to get through this so I'm not wasting his time. And it was almost like it sold her even more like, oh, I've got to shoot with this guy because he's not desperate.
I've been talking to people all day, booking people all day long. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that about that. And back to what we talked about with the other one too, being able to go over pricing right away gets that big elephant out of the room. And then you can go into the process rather than coming across like, I am so going to do this for you. You know, I don't know. I just really love how nonchalant you are. I'm going to do that
like,
too.
Whatever.
Yeah. I think the tone of your voice is what, I think that's what your success is. That's why you're selling so many of these on the phone, because it's not, it's like Alex and Michael said, it's not like an I don't care attitude, because that sounds wrong, but that's in the background. It's like, you know, hey, it's okay if you don't book, that's all right. But here's what I do, and I know you want to book, so shall we book now?
Let me help you.
It's just so confident. Yeah.
Yeah. It is. I've been trying to have that for years, and even when I really wanted them to book, I got a lead, and I was like, I need you to book because like I just got fired from my job and I need cash. But now it is easier. You know, I have big goals and stuff, so I really do want them to book for monetary reasons, and I do think I'm the best option for them. I think they'll love it. I think it'll be good for them. It will help them. It will make them more money, but it's not like I need it to make the month work financially. So yeah, that's good point. You can fake that to a degree if you don't feel that way, and I think it will help you even if you really do need them to book. I feel like I do want them to feel like I want them as a client, but I don't want them to feel like I need them as a client. Like I'll tell people like, I'd really like to work with you, even though I don't need to work with them to pay the bills.
You don't sound desperate for the business.
I don't want to sound desperate, but I do want to sound hungry. I want to like, that's why I'm pushing them. Like, what day works best? Like, let's get you on the schedule. So I think.
So that's what's known in sales as a trial close.
Mhm.
And I noticed that not so much in this call, but in the other one where you went there pretty early, which is a good thing. because it tests their readiness to book, and it keeps it moving forward.
Yeah.
So I noticed you basically kept trying trial closes till you closed.
Yeah, I felt really good about the persistence of that call, and it could have dropped if I didn't push a little more than was comfortable. It's easier to say, okay, well, you can call me when you know a good time, and we'll see what we do later.
Again, she was in right off the bat, though. I mean, she was like, I want to look pretty. Like, and that was a little alarming to me, right? From a pressure standpoint. Every time I've been asked that, the subject is seeking something that is difficult for them to achieve on their own. And but I mean, she was a fan right off the bat, and I don't think she cared what your initial cost was. Like, she was in, and I thought you did a really good job of just kind of sticking to the facts. And dude, that joke is epic.
365.
Oh God, that's
Love it.
pretty good. If I aspire to get to those numbers just to tell that joke, John.
That joke.
It is not a joke I came up with after I decided my pricing. The pricing is the way it is because of the joke.
And I think you answered it in the chat, but she did ask for the flag.
Yes, she asked. She needs it.
Okay.
She's in the federal government.
Got it. I didn't catch that part of the
I'd
convo.
never suggest putting a flag behind someone.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. But no, man, like I said, I thought you did a really good job sticking to the facts, and it felt like you weren't selling her as like in regards to the other phone call. Like that one, it almost felt like there was a little more validation behind it. This one was just felt very like this was an average call for you.
Yep. Yeah, I think in that way the second call was better.
Yeah.
I feel like I would like to record a call where people push back on price a little bit and I still convert them. That happens. But I think it is interesting that I happened to get 2 calls where people were enthusiastic, and I did not know them before. One guy came through a LinkedIn service page. I was surprised when he's like, how do we work together? Like, he knew my work and he was a fan. I don't know him. I've never, it's not a warm lead. It's a cold lead of someone who just knows my work somehow, I guess through LinkedIn. I don't know. I don't remember seeing his name before, but I think that goes to the point. Both of these are through LinkedIn. So my LinkedIn works for me and helps me get calls where people want to work with me. So I feel like you guys might think, well, these were easy calls, but I think a lot of the ones I convert are somewhat like this, where probably less of like, I'm a fan, but like I tell them the price and they're like, okay. And then I explain the process. They're like, that sounds awesome. And then they book. That's like a standard person who books. That's what they sound like, is like, I saw your work. It was really great. Here's the pricing. Okay. I mean, yeah, that seems okay. Here's what I do. Oh, wow. That sounds great. And then they book. I'm not, my success on the phone isn't usually taking someone who says, oh, wow, that's a lot. That's way too much for headshots, and then convincing them to book. It's more of usually not an objection over price much, or just like mild, like, oh, wow, that's up there. Yep, here's the process, and then they book. So it's not I feel like these were easy calls for me. They came in pretty warm and fairly committed to booking, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's way over the top unusual. They had a little bit more intent, and they knew my work a little bit better than the average people, but it's not out of the ordinary. I'm not converting skeptics all the time to get the bookings.
So both of these people were people who seen your work on LinkedIn. Is that right?
Yeah, one guy came through my service page. It says service page on the initial email that he sent to me. I guess he messaged me through my page. I really don't know how that works. I probably should. And then one was like an in-mail kind of a thing. We weren't connected. And she had seen some of her connection. Someone she's connected to liked a picture that I posted. She didn't even know who it was. And I guess she did some more looking around at my website or something before we called. And so, yeah, both from LinkedIn.
So would you say that the calls you get from, I guess, sort of LinkedIn oriented people are different from, say, someone who just opts in to your website because they found you through SEO or like a, was it Google?
I
Google
feel like
Ads
the
kind of thing?
calls where I convert people from LinkedIn are similar to the calls that I get through organic or ad leads. But the calls from LinkedIn, I feel are more likely to be those kind of calls. And it makes sense because people who are active on LinkedIn are the ones seeing me on LinkedIn, and the people active on LinkedIn are the ones who value LinkedIn and know the value of LinkedIn related to making money and professional networking. So it makes sense that they would value it more. And I also feel like there's probably just a bit more connection between like this guy's active on LinkedIn, I'm active on LinkedIn, rather than this guy has a website and I went to his website. So
Yeah, I feel like LinkedIn, people from LinkedIn would be warmer leads than some random person who stumbled on your website
yeah,
and was curious about pricing.
for sure. Yep.
That's the benefit of the post engage connect.
Yeah.
You know, you did then, I mean, the connection is because you posted engaged. So you do have more of a connection with them.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And it's just more personal. Even if they just happened on my LinkedIn page, it feels like my personal page rather than a website of a company. So I think even that, it feels more like Facebook, more like Instagram. It's like, oh, this is this person's space rather than this is the company's website.
Their sales page.
Yeah.
Yeah, LinkedIn's been really good. There was somebody I've been kind of communicating with for over a year. And then she said, hey, you know, let's just meet in person and get together, which we did. And it wasn't a sales type thing. It was just, you know, getting to know each other and how can I help you? How can you help me type thing.
Yep.
And now it looks like they're going to hire me. She's a marketing consultant for a chain of physical therapy places of 36 offices.
Wow.
Around Puget Sound. And then even today, I mean, I just went out earlier today and sent out some invitations, and I got one thing back from a guy. You know, he accepted my invitation, and I just said, you know, hey, don't hesitate to reach out if there's anything I can do to support you and your business. And he just sent me a message back. Your stuff looks great. How do we get this process started? So yeah, LinkedIn for me is just been really, really good. I'm booking like 2 or 3 people a month off LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
and maybe putting in 20 minutes a day.
Yeah. It's worth it. I did the Photo BizX podcast and it came out this week. And I emphasized that the way I run my business and the way many of you are running your businesses now, it's worth time to get the clients. So like 20 minutes a day isn't much, but it's worth 20 minutes every day to get 3 clients a month. It's, you know, $4,000, $5,000, maybe something like that. That's worth 20 minutes a day. Like the pricing, the higher pricing and the one-to-one, which rewards us when we do a good job, means it's worth doing this work and following up with people and, you know, talking, engaging for a year before, you know, what's this going to be a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 job? How much is this?
Yeah, it'll be about $24,000-$25,000.
Yeah. Is that worth a year of engaging with someone? Uh-huh.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's very cool. And it, you know, people who aren't doing the one-to-one and who are at, you know, $50 an image, $75 an image, I've heard them say like, I'm not gonna, you know, call people that if they want, they can book. It's not worth it to call. And maybe it isn't at those rates. but higher rates, it becomes worth it to be hungry and chase clients a bit. So anyway, just reminded of that. Okay, anybody else? Any general questions or anything else?
I have a general question. Like on the website, it can say per session, so many dollars per session. You book a client and they come in and there's 3 other people that followed them in because they thought unlimited amount of people per session. How do you handle that?
Phone calls?
I don't know what you mean.
You talk to them.
Well,
You had a conversation and said, I will
yeah,
work with you, I will coach you.
okay.
You
and
call
if-
them before, you make the call before they show up. So it's like a pre-call,
Yeah,
just to check.
Right, okay, so the pre-call was made but somewhere the communication, because even on the website, it says per session. And I didn't communicate correctly, I guess, but they came in with 3 other people and they thought that was the session for all 3, one price.
So maybe adding the word individual before the word session.
that could help. For me, maybe one reason I haven't ever had that happen before is I have had individual sessions, or right now I have headshots for me. All the images, all the buttons they would click to get individual pricing says headshots for me. So me is singular. But I'm surprised, I would kind of, based on the information I have, I would doubt that this was a genuine mistake or a genuine misunderstanding, unless the phone call was very short, or I feel like, it's very, I don't know if you think I could have been misunderstood that like you can bring as many people as you want. If I were faced with that, I might just change to, okay, well, that's not the case. Like this is for one person, but I might be tempted just to do it at $360 for the session and $365 per image, because my per person rate is $450. And instead of getting into a discussion or argument or whatever about price, I could just say, okay, we're gonna do a group, which is 15 minutes a person, and get them out in an hour, and they buy 4 images, and it's $150 or $300 less than I would have gotten. Actually, no, it works out to about the same. It would be for 4 people. For me, it would be $365 times 4 plus $360 for the session for everybody. So it'd be $1,820 instead of $1,800. So I would just be like, okay, we're gonna do 15 minutes sessions. I probably explain that I'm just thinking on my feet now, like I would have to if someone came in. I would say, oh no, this is for an individual session, but I'll honor this anyway, just to act in good faith. And I wasn't trying to trick you. I guess there's miscommunication, but we're gonna do what you thought it was we were gonna do anyway. And we're gonna do 15-minute sessions, and I'll have you out in an hour, and that works for me. Sound good to you? And then you have a small group instead of an individual session, and you don't maybe sell 1 image, but 2 images, you sell 4. Maybe you sell 8. I would, in that situation, I was always shoot the boss first. See if I can impress the boss. See if I can get the boss to buy 3, and then ask him or her in front of everybody else. So like, do they get 3 too?
So John, I have
basically what I'm saying is I'd make bank with the group.
John,
Yep.
what would you do? Because I have this coming up. I've got a family of 4. They all need professional headshots. The mom, I already shot her and she already picked out her shots. So the dad, the son, and their, adult children graduated from college, they need LinkedIn headshots. So they're all going to be coming to the studio. Would you do TNT separately? And how would you work that? Because, they're
I assume
kids.
that the parents are paying.
Yeah, the parents are paying and they're young adult kids, like
Yeah.
one reading
I'd-
at grad,
I'd
so.
shoot them all. At most, I would do one round of culling. So go through one star or delete, maybe with the kid, if it's the kid or the dad. And then I would do everybody gather around the computer. We're going to go over Susie's shots and Johnny's shots and dad's shots. And, you know, the dad's paying. So I would always have the dad there after the first round at least and let them buy what they want. Yeah, I DNT them that way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question for you then. When people ask you on messages, like the price, do you prefer to call them?
Yes.
Something about it? No
So,
prices on the messages?
Absolutely. I'd love to share that with you. Give me a call. 202-486.
All right, never prices on the messages, right?
If they're like, I don't want to get on the phone, I just want the prices, then I'll send them, I'll either tell them they can go to, if they're nice about it, if I don't feel like there's a bad edge to it, I will just send them the link to the pricing and booking page and tell them like, if this seems expensive, you should give me a call because you don't know what I do. And then if they're nasty about it, I'll tell them they can go to highandheadshots.com, click on any blue button and fill out the form. And then when they do, I call them. And then we have a conversation. So yeah, I mean, to me, the way I described this morning in terms of pushing for a close, I push for a booking until I feel like it is more likely that I will book them if I don't try to close them again. I mean, you could have someone who's like positive about you, but really does need to talk to the spouse or needs to schedule a hair appointment first to feel comfortable booking. In that circumstance, I usually suggest scheduling and using a reschedule, free reschedule if you need to. You know, sometimes I'll even say like, let's schedule for next week on Thursday. If you can't get your session, let me know, or your hair appointment by Tuesday, let me know, and I'll give you another free reschedule. I'll give you 2 free reschedules, one for the hair, one for whatever happens to come up later. But, you know, whatever, sometimes they need to do something before they feel comfortable booking. If I have someone who's positive, like, I love your work. Oh yeah, we'll do it. I want to do it. I just need to talk to my husband. And it's like to the point where that's the decision. It will potentially make them upset or just not like me if I try to close again. So I've got someone positive who is resisting. It's better to let them go and hope they come back later than to try to push them again and make them upset and change their mind and not go with you at all. So that's my
You
general.
ever try saying, oh, can I check in with you next Friday?
Yeah, I try to set an appointment and I send a calendar invitation, sometimes rescheduling the one we just had to whenever we decide. If they're like, I don't know, that doesn't work, I have to go, you know, okay, I'll call you in a week, and I set my CRM reminder. So yeah, I try to have a next step of some kind, at least, you know, I'm going to call you in a week or a month or whatever.
John, I know you've gone over this before, so sorry if I don't remember, but when you have the objection of, say you're TNT woman, and she says, oh, I really for sure love these 2 shots. I think I want to get a third, but I want to ask my husband.
Well, I don't deal with that a lot. I think what's similar that I have addressed is what they say if they say they want to have their husband's help in selecting images. That sounds more like a permission to spend money thing.
Right.
So I don't come across that I remember. I mean, I would say like, we'll get him on the phone, like FaceTime him, which is what I say when they say they need help, except I first ask, is he a headshot photographer? And I said, oh no. And then I was like, well, do you want everyone to see you like your husband sees you or your wife sees you or whatever? Oh, like, I'm an expert. I actually have a better view of you for professional purposes than your spouse does. Your spouse is going to want the happiest picture of you. that's not necessarily the best thing for you. I don't need your colleagues to fall in love with you. I just need them to hire you, promote you, hire, you, work with you, whatever, poach you, whatever it is. And then sometimes they do FaceTime, and it's usually not helpful for the sale. It usually goes down. But I don't want to pressure them and say, you can't talk to anyone until you swipe a credit card with me. So it is what it is in the end, but often they do change their mind and say, oh yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't want her to help me choose, or I don't want him to help me choose, because they will want just how they see me.
And what about the objection if they say, well, let me get these 2 now and maybe I'll get these 4 later?
I say people don't come back.
Say that again.
I say people don't come back. I'll say, I've had 4 people come back in 5 years. People either, and one of those came back 2 years later, and I told him I wasn't going to give him images that were outdated.
Yeah.
But everybody else, lots of people say they're going to buy later, and they just generally don't come back. So you're going to buy the ones you want today. If you don't want to buy all 4, for example, you don't have to, but these are the ones that you buy are the ones you're going to get. Probably you're not coming back.
I tell them that whatever's not purchased gets deleted at the end of the session. And it's worked in my favor like twice.
Yeah. I don't typically delete the images though, so I don't want to say that. When they ask, do you hold on to these? I say, I don't specifically try to save them. Sometimes they do get deleted, but I'm not waiting for you. And then I also probably tell them I have a payment plan. You can you can put this on your credit card and pay it off whenever you want. And they laugh. That's funny. But that's how I handle those.
Thanks.
Yep. Everybody good?
A quick question, a business question.
Yes, that's what we're here for.
Would you recommend setting up an S corp?
If you're making over like much over 60 or 80, it was advantageous for me. I'm not a tax professional, blah, 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 blah. But what the S corp allows you to do, as I understand it, is that over a reasonable income, which my tax accountant said it's 60,000, and that's safe. Like it could be 50, but he's like, let's just go with 60. Over the $60,000 income or whatever that your accountant tells you, you don't have to pay self-employment tax. So it saves you up, I think, about 15% on income over that. So if you're making 62 and you're going to have 60,000 as a reasonable income, that's probably not worth it. But for me, it saved me 30,000.
Is that federal self-employment tax?
Yes, I believe so. Yep.
Yeah, so but the S corp has to pay taxes.
You'd have to ask your accountant. I don't think so. I think it's still a pass through.
Corporations always have to pay taxes, but it may be a better rate.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know. It saved me money. That's what my tax person said.
Talk to your accountant. They
Yeah.
will save you money.
Talked to multiple accountants. As I said, the one lady said, like, I compared it, it's about the same. And my new guy said it would save me a lot of money. So good to have a second opinion. All right. Anything else? Okay. Let's
Really
do.
helpful.
What's that?
Yeah, that was good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I was glad I finally caught some successful ones. Do you think like an engaging failed call would be helpful as well? Or
I do. I'd
Yeah.
like to see you talk somebody through the, objection, the price objection.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Same
Yes,
here. Even if
okay.
it's a mock, even if it's like a mock call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be helpful, I guess. I mean, I just say, yeah, that's expensive. Do you want to hear why it's expensive? And they say, yeah. And then I do what I did before. So it's not a big deal. You can't there's no reason in trying to convince them that it's not expensive. It is, for me, I am expensive. So it's not really answering an objection. It's not overcoming an objection, except that I just explain what I do.
Are you really expensive, or are your skills very valuable?
I am the most expensive headshot photographer you can hire. I get your point.
The value.
I know.
But like, would you argue a Ferrari isn't expensive? No, come on, it's expensive. It's amazing, but it's expensive.
Yes,
I feel like that's a philosophical point that I appreciate, and I get, I'm a better value than other photographers, but the price is high for a headshot.
Well, and I think it's really important to have that question and the answer ready.
Yeah. It's important to know whether you're expensive or not. Do you think you're expensive? If I didn't think I was expensive, my answer would be different. I don't feel like arguing that I'm not expensive because, I just that point, arguing. I feel like that's arguing. First rule of sales for a lot of people is always agree. If you're like, no, I'm not expensive, then you're arguing with the person you're trying to convince.
Yeah, that's dumb. That never works.
Sorry.
I mean, I tend to feel like some of us are, you get to a point where someone calls you or you get them on the phone, like they want you, but they get mad at themselves because they can't afford you, but they want you. So who are they really arguing with?
Well, so think of it this way. So some people have, there's several scenarios. Some people have legitimate budgets that they can't go out of. Some people have budgets that have been imposed by other people that they may decide to eat the difference if they think what they're getting is, so if someone's been given a budget by their boss to get a headshot for $200, then maybe if they see the value, they'll pay extra and, turn in the $200, and then some people just have, they have the money and they just need to understand the value proposition.
Either way, John, your prices are now locked because if you change, you won't be able to use the joke anymore.
I know, it's tough.
You're
I have
kind of
to-
stuck now.
I could give up the covered from every angle. That's not as funny. I go to like 1,000 session and 365 an image, but yeah, it'd be hard to give that up.
My new goal is to be able to tell that joke with my pricing attached to it.
It'd be like, it's 365 per image. You get half as a refund at the end of the session. It's 365 because
It's still.
I don't think I can pull off that particular joke, but I'm now the wheels are turning on how I can come up with one for my price.
just be like, buy one, get 50% off. All right. I just think, John, that, I think Roger kind of hit on part of it, which is if it's expensive to them, they are right. If you argue with them, then you're arguing with the client. If you just explain the value, it could become not expensive to them, but it's much more convincing if it becomes not expensive to them than if you prove that it's not expensive.
And the worst thing to tell a potential customer is, oh, you're wrong. Just
I
may as
don't-
well hang up.
Yeah, I don't think you would ever want to argue with them about it, but learning to defend your work and the value behind it is also a crucial conversation that we should all be prepared to have, right? We should have it with confidence, because we can provide a service to individuals that help them in many areas. And I don't need to defend the amount of time I've invested in my craft to do it. I have a portfolio that shows it.
So what's,
why we're
what do you,
talking.
what do you think the benefits are to saying, actually, it's the best deal around? It's actually a great, affordable headshot, rather than just saying, well, here's why it is that much. It's a great session, blah, 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 blah.
I think I would preface it to something I said earlier. I would try to extract information from them on what are they looking to accomplish? Why do they, what are they trying to do with their headshot? How is their image going to live? We could spin it around, are we a good fit? Because if the deliverables, expectations, and budget don't align with theirs, then maybe I'm not the right fit for them, because they just need a school portrait, but I think extracting that conversation about how they want to use it and what they're intending to get out of it allows me to ask some questions. Are you seeking new opportunities? Do you need to add this for, just LinkedIn, or do you want to, are you going to be in an editorial? Are you going to be in a publication? I mean, I think there's lots of ways to utilize marketing touch points as a means to navigate a conversation of how we could possibly do business together without me having to say I'm the best deal around town, or I'm going to give you the best headshot around town.
Yeah.
Because I want to be a good partner to my client, and I want to deliver to them a product that they can use in multiple touch points, even if it's just one image.
Yeah. I think there's value to what you're saying. I think you're saying something a little different than what I thought. But yeah, engaging in that way sounds much better than what I thought you were saying before. So, yeah. All right, let's do wins. Tom.
So I'm going to go with just echoing what you were talking about earlier for LinkedIn and boost LinkedIn. I just shot somebody Saturday with almost the exact same scenario. He found me he Googled LinkedIn headshots and found me that way. And he just emailed me and said, hey, I like your work. How can we get together? I mean, it's like a step up from the unassisted booking for me. It just feels great
Easy. Yep.
when that happens.
Yep. I don't mind talking to someone for 5 minutes to book them. It's not
Okay.
a defeat.
I don't know who you are, but sure, you want to give me some money? Okay.
Yep. Roger, do you want to go before you leave? Win?
Yeah, so probably don't have much to say in terms of wins, other than I've been doing a lot of pro bono stuff that has really allowed me to up my game in terms of quality of what I'm shooting. I've actually decided that some of this stuff I usually, do it quickly and get them out, and decided, I'm gonna, to use Peter's famous phrase, since I have a perfectly good human being in front of my camera, I'm gonna maximize it. So I got one coming up, and I'm just gonna maximize it and see if I can get 100 great shots, and to see what I can make out of it.
Cool.
Good idea.
Awesome.
Okay, I gotta go. Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
Thank you.
Two ideas quick that I want to cover. One, I think Dan Wakefield kind of put it in my mind, but the idea of shooting boards of directors, even if it's to build a portfolio or something, is a really great idea, because those people are on other boards, or they run other companies, or whatever. They're people of influence, often well-to-do. These people are good people to know. They could hire you for their companies. They could hire you for family photos if you want to do that or something. They have friends who are like that and on other boards, and they hang out together, and it's just it's much better than what I've suggested to people before, which is to go shoot a company as a demo, to get a collage and to get behind the scenes photos or video or whatever. Do a nonprofit that you support, and shoot the board of directors or the top people, whatever that is, because they're probably, especially if they're volunteers, I would imagine they're especially connected and they could be a much better lead. Once you've shot the company, all the people work at that company, you know, that's where they hang out all the time. That's where they work. So it's a good idea to shoot a nonprofit, I think. Second idea, just I posted about on the Facebook page, so I won't belabor it, but I turned a $1,350 job into well over 10,000 by suggesting that I shoot a team as either I suggested I could shoot you as a group. It's $450 per person. It includes an image. It's a 15-minute session. You come into the studio together. It includes one image, if I didn't just say that. You can't change outfits. You can't get hair and makeup. There will be less variety, one outfit, and you'll be in and out in an hour, all three of you. Or you could book an individual session. The person I was talking to was a woman. I was like, you could get hair and makeup. We could change clothes. We could get a wider set of images. And it's a relaxed session. You can schedule whenever you want. Your partners can schedule whenever they want. So what she want to do? And she said, let's book the individuals. I was like, okay. So she got hair and makeup for one. They got 2 sessions. She pre-bought 2 images for each person. She said something like a professional one and a casual one. And I had her go first because women tend to spend more, and she seemed to be in charge of things, financial things. She didn't have to ask anybody. So I figured she's at the top. I asked her to come in first because I wanted to wow her and have her buy images and then say that other people could get more images. She got 12 additional images. She tipped $550. And I asked her while she was packing up, like, what about the other 2? Do you want to offer them more images, or what do you want to do? She's like, they can get whatever they want. So, okay. So I shot the second guy. He bought 7 additional images, and I have the third guy coming in at the end of the month. And so he hasn't bought any extra images, and I'm already at over 10,000. And I seem to have done this with another group. I was referred to a group by someone I haven't shot yet, but who's interested in shooting. I said we could have you all come in together, or I could come to you, 450, 1,000 if I come to you, or we could do individual sessions. He's like, well, we have 2 people here, and we have 3 people or 5 people, 3 to 5 people elsewhere, and they come to DC sometimes. I was like, we could do individual sessions then. Sure. And he booked his. I haven't booked anybody else, but it seems like I'm going to have 5 to 7 individual sessions. And I'm having one of the decision makers, the 2 top guys are here in DC. So I'm going to shoot them and see how many images I can get them to get, and then see how many images they want for the rest of the team. So for a small group under 10, I might as well float the individual session thing and see if you can turn something like 1,300 to 10,000. Anyway, that's kind of a win. I'll count that as my win since I rambled on. Michael, we're going over a win or wins from the previous month. Does not have to be financial, but probably is.
Okay, well, I 2 wins come to me. One win, always staying in balance. And that is always the goal between whatever is happening in my life, just to remember to stay in balance. The other thing was today I did book 3 people. So that's a
Nice.
good win.
3
Thank
separate people?
Yes,
Okay, amazing. It's a good day.
it's a good day.
Yeah, awesome. John. He's figuring it out.
Sorry, I'm editing and I had the spinning beach ball of death.
Oh, no.
I got a lot of small wins actually. April turned out to be a pretty good month for me. Really made up for March, which was good. I also finally just got the LLC thing going for myself. I'm continuing to take little steps. I'm just getting all those foundational elements for the business going. But one of the wins that I was excited about was there was an individual within my network that started a podcast. So I reached out and I was just like, hey, I'd love to offer you a free session and 2 free images in exchange for 2 months of advertising or your whole second season of your podcast. And long story short, she obliged. I ended up giving her, I think, 4 images in exchange for extra advertising. So I think I might get about 10 or 12 episodes of advertising. And we went through and recorded a whole commercial, and she's going to give me a do follow backlink from her, podcast page with my logo and all that. So trying to find ways to do a little pro bono work, but yet have it kind of do some work for me. I think that's probably it.
That's cool. That's good thinking. It's our second season. So
I didn't want to get in on her first one because I wanted to get a little bit more momentum, and she's more local. So I figure when her audience grows just a little bit, I can then kind of slide in there a little bit. And then as it continues to grow, and now she's got the headshot too for me.
yeah, that makes sense. I was confused. I thought you said she was just starting and then you mentioned the second season, but you're just delaying the payoff to you because give her some.
Right.
Okay, cool. Good. Alex.
So I mentioned it before, but I finally have a studio.
Yeah.
I'm going to be getting the key to it in May, and I'm super stoked. It's pretty big. And I realize that I'm finally feeling like I get to step into who I really am as a photographer. Not that you need a, space to do that, but I can just tell by the way my excitement is and what I want to shoot there. It's just made this whole thing look completely different. And so that's really exciting. And I wouldn't have thought this was possible if I hadn't started putting it as my goal. The other thing I started doing was mining LinkedIn. My website right now is down. I hired Richard Wayne to make a new one. And so my old one is basically down, and there's just a landing page that he's done. And so I'd been putting off mining LinkedIn because I didn't think that I should, because I didn't have a website. But Laura Kinzer last week said, no, just start doing it now. So in the past week, I've just been going on, like 5 or 10 people a day. And I've connected with, I think, 55 people as new people as of today. And I started typing just a note, thanks for connecting, and that's it, not make it salesy. And then if I had already shot their headshot in the past, because some of these big corporation jobs that I've shot, I'm seeing their headshots online that I've shot. So I'll put in the note, thanks for connecting. So awesome to see you using your new headshot. Well, today, one of the girls messaged back a really complimentary why she loves her headshot. And she said, hey, I want you to talk to my husband because he needs an updated headshot. So just in a week, just be deciding to do, whoever said it, I forget, just a couple, or John, you did too, probably about 20 minutes a day is already turning into a new headshot. I mean, obviously it's not booked yet, but I'm sure it will be. So that's really fun. I like LinkedIn. I understand LinkedIn. So I'm pretty stoked about that.
Yeah, Charlie was talking about that, and I was talking about it, but yeah, Charlie. That's great. Yeah. Waiting is usually not the right answer for anything. It just doesn't usually make sense.
Yeah.
Rarely. That's good. That's awesome. Yeah. You can book people on LinkedIn. Did your landing page have some examples of your work?
Yeah, it does. It's pretty basic, but that's fine. I do post pretty regularly to my social media, which has a lot of my clients on there. And then I also made two posts on LinkedIn. One was a headshot and one was a lifestyle session. And I'm going to do that every day this week because I hadn't been doing that. And it's just, I don't know, I love marketing. So it's just really fun to be like, oh my God, I have totally not been using this. And it's free.
I would use the website being down as a reason they should call you. Hey, I know my website's down, I'm improving it, but the best way to to learn what I do is now to call me.
Okay, that's a great idea. Laura also said that I should sort of be pitching, hey, and by the way, can't wait to shoot everyone in my new studio when it's open, or, I don't know, I'd have to word it right, but
Yeah.
also kind of be able to build some, vibe about that.
Yeah, let people know where it is. Maybe someone will see it and be like, oh man, that's right down the street, or like that's in the building next to me, or I work across the street, or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, play it up. That's
Thank
cool.
you.
I would go a little bit emotional and be like, this is a dream come true, maybe not that over the top, but explain like, not, I have a new studio, can't wait to shoot people there, but like, I never thought I'd have a studio, or I've been shooting for this long and I've been wanting a studio, and now thanks to John Meadows at John Meadows. I'm just kidding. But make it accurate, but let people know how big of a deal it is to you.
Okay, I really like that feedback. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Garrett.
Hey, John. Quick question before I get into wins. So someone submitted a form about 5 minutes ago, like 9:40 at night. Do you call that late, or?
I would text that late. Be like, I know it's
Cool.
late, but I know you're looking at headshots. I'm still awake. I'm like you. I don't go to sleep until 2. Do you want to have a call now, or do you want to do a call in the morning?
Cool. I like that.
I would have done it 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Tried to hit him on chat.
You
before I
cannot
left.
count getting older as a win, by the way.
Wins. So my bank job started, so that's nice. They're paying me with a credit card same
You're-
day.
You're a teller now?
I think I've shared this before, but I've landed a contract shooting somewhere between 1,000 to 2,000 people for this bank over the next whenever, pretty much at my normal rates. So that's kind of wild.
Yeah.
So that started. I finally had the gumption to charge separate session fees for a small group of 4 coming in this week. And the
Are they coming in as a group, or are you doing the individual sessions charge? You come in
coming
with-
in as a group.
Oh, okay.
So
So-
usually I do just like one session fee. Come on in, because I'm going to sell the images. But it was originally 2, and I said, yeah, I've got the shared session. Here's the link, same calendar, but it just makes them pay twice. And then they said, hey, we want to add 2 more people. Is that cool? Just charge this card. I'm like, cool. So
So is
that's a
that
new
the-
one for me.
That's the new normal now?
I hope so. We'll see, but yeah, just a lot of good stuff has been happening. Consistent income. Haven't done any Dan Wakefield numbers, but it's been steady in the mid, over 5 figures. So
Cool. You don't have a wife and 4 kids, so.
yeah, but I do have a non-shithole apartment now, so that's a huge win.
Okay, awesome. Good. Jared, are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Is there a good reason we
Um,
never see you on camera? Never, ever?
I don't have a webcam. I don't.
Oh, that's right. I will send you a web.
Yeah. Yes, that would be great, I guess.
Are you
I
at the
don't know.
library?
No,
Okay.
no, I'm at my house.
Okay.
No, I just don't have a webcam. I'm on a desktop computer, and it's a regular monitor that doesn't have a webcam built
Do you
in.
do Zooms with
So-
clients ever?
Yeah, and I'm just never on it. I'm always just sharing the screen with with Capture One and doing image selection kind of thing. So
I mean, do you
don't
ever
need to
do a
see me.
Zoom with potential clients?
No.
You
I've
make
done that.
bank, dude. Buy a
So-
camera.
You can afford
Well,
it.
no, I don't know. I just never really cared or wanted to get one, so I just never worried about it. But
It's not about you.
it's not a price thing, obviously, because those things are like $60 or something
Yeah.
on Amazon.
Okay, okay.
know,
Wins.
I'm not
Next,
worried
next
about
month, I
that.
want to hear about how you got a webcam.
I will go by a webcam. But this month was fairly quiet, but I still made really good money. Made about 15,000, which is good. Last year, my best month was 16K. And then had my biggest sale ever, close to 5K for, you know, an individual session kind of thing. You know, it was a bit of a mix of things, not just headshots. So that was really cool. Then today I got a message back from a company that wants to do some headshots in studio kind of thing, a big group of 28 people kind of thing.
Wow. Nice.
So that'll be a good 5.5K plus type thing.
How did they find you?
I'm not 100% sure.
Came through the website?
But it just came through the website and reached out to me. The past couple of weeks, I had quite a few group inquiries.
Nice.
And so I've got like sort of 3 that are sort of in process of, you know, getting me paid kind of thing. One's already paid the deposit. And then one of them, I had to go through a whole bunch of admin stuff, get on the Virginia list of vendors and
Yep.
a bunch of other paperwork stuff to get in their vendor list thing that was kind of complicated.
That's good though,
but-
because that's a hurdle.
Yeah. And so that's taken care of now. And then, so yeah, there's just been a pretty decent amount of activity on that sort of group corporate side of things. So that's pretty good.
That's awesome. It's amazing to have a slow feeling month. That's almost your best month. That means you're prime.
Yeah, it definitely
Lot more.
was good. There was a good amount of, you know, collections sold and things like that. And so it went well, despite the fact that it was not, you know, a super busy month the way March was. Like March was, you know, 20 something, 23 sessions or something crazy like that. You know, this month was probably more around 12 or something like that.
Yeah.
And you know, still made 15K. So,
Yeah.
and a lot of that was just that one person paying, you know,
Yeah.
5,000 kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. Good. Thanks, guys. I posted my PhotoBizX podcast on the group. So if you want to hear me talk more,
I heard it.
you can go there. Yeah. I thought it turned out well.
Yes.
My parents liked it, so that's good. If you have suggestions for what I should cover next month, maybe we'll do some failed calls. You can listen to some failed calls. I have a really good failed call, and it is long. It is like 36 minutes, I think. But I overcame objection after objection, and then she had her boyfriend get on the call, and I explained to him what I did, and he was like, no, we shouldn't do this. And then it didn't work out, but I kept her on the phone. I was humorous. I said, like, we could just book this and you could stop making excuses. And it worked actually. She's like, yeah, well, it's not really an excuse. I'm like, I know, I'm just kidding. And I just paused and she's like, let me get my debit card. So it was kind of like intense, long, and almost worked. It was so close. But maybe that one will be one we'll listen to. I don't know. There was some space waiting for the boyfriend. So do you guys think that's too long? That's probably too long, right? We don't want to sit here and listen to half an hour for one call. It's pretty engaging. Like, I had Maureen sitting across and she was like, oh my God. I'll re-listen to it and decide. I think it might be too long, but I'll have some other calls by next month. I'll plan to be recording. So does that sound good? Failed calls next month? I feel like this was a good session tonight and this morning. So maybe we'll do that. That'll probably be the plan. We'll see. Good to see you guys.
All right. Thank you.
See you.
Bye, you guys.
thanks, John.